Hey guys, this is James from Anemone Aquascaping. Welcome back for another video. I'm here to present this 60p hardscape that I build using Hakkai Stone. I don't know if I feel bad, but I felt very frustrated in trying to make a build video of this, showing step by step how I created it. And it wasn't going well. And in most scenarios now, when I'm trying to build a hardscape, I find it so distracting to try to film myself while doing it, because my time is split between the artistic creative process of building the layout and the logistical creative aspect of filming it. And I thought I could do it in this case, and the reason was because I built this hardscape once before, very recently. I kind of use this as like a sandbox where I was just trying to build different layouts and kind of explore different materials and see what I could come up with. And there were two primary ones that I did. One was an elder stone Iwagumi with Wio products. And that one, although I really liked it, wasn't for me to keep because I'm using that design, that layout, for a workshop that's coming up. By the time this video comes out, it might be actually after the workshop. Anyway, this one was using the Hakkai Stone, and the idea, I wanted to try to almost recreate that elderly stone layout, but with a different material. I learned that it doesn't really work that way because every material that you use is entirely unique, and it's not as simple as just like, oh, this rock was here, let me put this similar looking rock there. You're going to have a completely different look. It is moderately similar to what the previous layout was, but it definitely has some differences to it. The first stone just wouldn't really stay in place. It kept falling over. When I did the practice build, I was using sand, and in this case I used aqua soil, and I think that had a pretty large impact on the difficulty I was having. Once I finally got it set up, I couldn't even get it at the exact angle I wanted, and I kind of just gave up on it. To save on soil, I was trying to use these bags that were filled with gravel. And that was just to elevate the substrate in the back. What I didn't take into account was that these bags would be in the location where some of the stones were, and it kind of affected my ability to balance them properly, stabilize them, and arrange them in the right angle that I was looking for. It also meant that I'd have to make the mound even more high than I wanted it to be. And so a lot of frustration caused me to just give up on the bags and not use them at all, and I just have soil going into the background instead. The final straw for me was moving just the tiniest Hakkai stone that I have in that layout and accidentally hitting the glass and shattering it slightly. Thankfully, it looks like it's just cosmetic, and it wasn't in the corners or by the silicone work at all. I'm assuming it's good, and it's also above the water level line, so there's not really going to be much pressure on that point. I'm assuming it's completely cosmetic, but worst case scenario, I might have to get a new aquarium after trying to build this also. So there's just so much frustration, and I do have the footage. Maybe I'll leave some of it in here, but probably not a whole lot. And I just felt like I could just talk about the layout instead. I almost want to coin a new term of classical aquascaping, because this Iwagumi looks like it's from the early 2000s. And I think as far as the long-term development and the planning of plants and everything else, it probably will remain that way. For some reason, I just am drawn to older style aquascapes. I don't have anything against like more modern Iwagumi styles, but this one just appeals to me so much more. Why is it so traditional? Well, I think it's because of the way the rocks were arranged and planned. In a traditional Iwagumi, you're going to have the main stone, you're going to have a secondary stone, a third stone that's kind of not, maybe the first stone is like twice as large as the second stone, and the third stone's only half as large as the second one. And then you might have some more small stones that aren't as integral to the aquascape, but are just kind of detailed. And that's pretty much what I did here, pretty much straight up. And other rules that I followed, the main stone is usually slightly tilted. I tried to look at the grooves of the Hakkai Stone. So, for example, there's some aspects of the Hakkai Stone that is more flat, and there's some aspects that are more eroded. And my idea here was that I would take the eroded parts and display them all on one side, and it kind of casts almost like a flow where the water is going in this direction. The more eroded parts represent where the water's flowing, whereas the flatter parts are, where the water's not passing through. So I tried to think about that, and I never really considered something like that in the building of an aquascape and of an Iwagumi in particular. And I think it is important to think about the natural flow that the layout would have. Besides the glass having cracked slightly on the top, one of the other concerns I have about this is when I fill it up with water. If you've ever done a layout where the soil has an incline to it, you know that when you fill it up with water, some of the soil will settle and fall. And so I'm a little bit worried that my hardscape's going to fall over once it starts filling up with water. So much so that I was thinking about filling this up and doing what we call a dark start, where I basically have water in it before I even plant it, just to let the biosystem establish itself to prevent plant melt. But in my case, I was thinking about doing it just to see if I fill it up with water, is my layout going to fall apart? Usually I wouldn't worry that much, and I have tried to make sure everything's secure in the stones, but once the soil settles, you never know what's going to happen. But just because I've had such bad luck already in building this aquarium, I'm kind of superstitious in the sense that I'm worried that the same issue is going to happen again. But I'm going to wait and just kind of let it sit for a little while. I've been thinking really hard about what kind of plants I would want to use for this aquarium. I've asked some of my friends and gotten different ideas on it already. I feel like this is kind of the layout that can have a timeless look. It can be around for a long time, and it can have many different iterations. I can see like a fully stem plant in the background layout with, let's say, like HC Cuba in the foreground. I can see a lot of different mid-ground plants like Blixa japonica or Echinodorus tenuum. I can see just a very classic Eleocharis, like the dwarf hairgrass only. There's so many different things that I can envision for this aquarium. I'm curious what you guys think. And feel free to leave in the comments how you would plant this aquarium. And hopefully I'll be able to follow up with some good news and a fully planted aquarium for the next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching and staying around. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.